Economies stagnate, when promises fail, and when the future grows uncertain, human nature seeks a focal point for its frustration.
So we vent our anger, our dissatisfaction on our perceived enemies.
These people, they work for 80 rand a day, 90 rand a day. It's fine for them because when you go to his country, it's a lot of money. But for us, it's too small. So we are no longer getting jobs anymore because of the salary we're looking for. You understand? These people, they are accepting small money.
They feared for their lives, they wouldn't be here. Remember, they left their countries because they feared for their lives, didn't they? Now, if they fear for their lives, what's stopping them from going to the next country? Why are they still fighting to be in South Africa? If you fear for your life and you're an immigrant, this is the best time to go back home.
Look at it. It's a pattern. It happens not just only in South Africa, even in the United States and even in other countries, where chaos always erupts when it's election time.
Where are you from? Yes. Where?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes. So what are you doing here? Because we've been calling for you guys to leave the country. Why are you still here?
I was not to school for children.
No, my brother. No. Please respect what we are saying and don't try and oppose what we are doing. Don't listen to the government. Don't listen to the police. Don't listen to anyone. Just listen to us. We are saying this peacefully. Please go to your country. 30 June is the deadline.
Or else what?
For decades, socialist Yugoslavia operated under the official motto of brotherhood and unity. It was a complex, multi-ethnic federation holding together distinct cultural and religious groups. But the glue holding it together wasn't just ideology, it was economic stability.
Yugoslavia was the largest country in the world.
When the global economy shifted in the 1980s, Yugoslavia collapsed into severe debt. The International Monetary Fund stepped in, demanding harsh structural adjustments, public spending cuts, and currency devaluations. Suddenly, resources were scarce, jobs vanished, and the state could no longer deliver on its promises. In times of structural failure, leaders face a choice: reform the system or find someone to blame. In Yugoslavia, opportunistic political elites chose the latter. Instead of addressing financial mismanagement, state-controlled media and politicians began translating economic misery into ethnic grievance. The playbook was deployed with clinical precision. In Serbia, media narratives framed other republics as economic parasites draining Serbian wealth. In Croatia and Slovenia, the narrative reversed, painting the federal center as a backward, oppressive force stifling their European identity. The other was no longer just a neighbor. They were an existential threat to survival. Xenophobia was weaponized to convince ordinary citizens that their poverty wasn't caused by bad policy, but by the demographic and cultural threat of the group across the border. The weaponization of internal xenophobia tore Yugoslavia apart, resulting in the deadliest conflict on European soil since World War II. Over 100,000 lives lost and millions displaced.
These are Satan's ways of distracting people, destroying their lives.
This was not peculiar to Yugoslavia alone.
Some of you will remember how Nigeria acted many years ago towards Ghana, the neighboring country.
Nigeria was experiencing a massive oil-fueled economic boom. Millions of West Africans, particularly Ghanaians fleeing political instability and severe famine at home, migrated to Nigeria. Ghanaian nationals became deeply embedded in the Nigerian workforce, notably filling critical gaps as teachers and skilled laborers. By 1982, global oil prices crashed, plunging Nigeria into a harsh recession marked by inflation and unemployment. In January 1983, President Shehu Shagari issued an executive order giving all undocumented immigrants 2 weeks to leave the country or face arrest.
They came to the same very conclusion that the reason they're not getting jobs, that their young people are not getting jobs, was because of the Ghanaians. That the Ghanaians were taking their jobs.
The mass exodus gave rise to the term Ghana must go. named after the cheap, sturdy, checkered blue and red nylon bags migrants used to pack their lives into. President Shehu Shagari's administration expected that expelling foreign workers would immediately free up jobs for unemployed Nigerians and stabilize the crashing oil economy. The reality was much more disruptive. Ghanaians hadn't just taken low-skilled jobs, they had become the backbone of several vital sectors, education and construction. Infrastructure projects ground to a sudden halt or saw costs skyrocket as local labor prices spiked overnight.
Xenophobic reactions to fellow Africans. It's satanic.
30 years ago, the Tutsi of Rwanda found themselves alone in the dark of night. In the new Rwanda, a forward-looking nation, memories collide. Yesterday's survivors and executioners cross paths without ever meeting. The aftermath of genocide is an enormous void.
They killed children and old people, and that I cannot forgive.
The people who organized the genocide were not just ordinary citizens. They are great intellectuals, meticulously prepared by Hitler's lessons. They tried to show that it was the Tutsi who were, manipulating that there were too many of them who had become rich. That's how it started. The French authorities unconditionally supported a regime that was preparing genocide against the Tutsi. I warned them at the end of 1990 that military leaders had the idea of a general massacre in mind. It was the final radical solution.
The Tutsi genocide in Rwanda didn't happen at a moment of collective madness. This widespread violence had been in the works for a long time. How did Rwandans come to exterminate other Rwandans? In this small African country, the poison of a genocidal ideology was rooted in European racism and in the country's colonizer, Belgium.
They're doing those things because Satan inspires them to do them.
Decades after the fall of apartheid, South Africa faces staggering structural crises. An overall unemployment rate hovering over 32%, youth unemployment suffocating nearly 61% of the young population, and a severe backlog in public housing, healthcare, and basic service delivery.
South Africa faces a serious and persistent unemployment crisis. Even under the strictest definition, these numbers continue to climb each year. There was an increase of 237,000 in the number of unemployed persons from 8 million to 8.2 million from the last quarter of 2024. In the first quarter of 2025, the NEET, or not in employment, education or training, rate for young people aged 15 to 24 stood at 37.1%. It is clear from the above mentioned that the persistent unemployment crisis in South Africa is a direct consequence of a fundamentally flawed political system. The experience of South Africa serves as a critical lesson, demonstrating that ideologies focused on destruction rather than building cannot lead to sustainable growth and prosperity.
At the center of black-on-black hatred is a state-sponsored and capital-sponsored hatred to distract you from giving you economic opportunities, to make you blame wrong people for your misfortunes. There's no Zimbabwe that took a land from you. There's no Zimbabwe that took a tender from you. There's no Zimbabwe that took a job from you. There are no jobs. The jobs Zimbabweans are doing, you don't want to do them. You are so educated enough to can do those slave jobs. That's why, not that you are lazy. You are not lazy, you know your worth.